Hey guys, so today we're going to look at the flam and how to execute the flam consistently. So how many of you guys have been playing flams and sometimes you pick up this dead sound, this flat sound? Right, that's pretty common. And how many of you guys maybe have never played a flam before? Okay, so today we're going to dive deep into how we play it and how we can play it consistently over the long term. And when you hear great drummers play, that's one thing they're consistent at, is the basic embellishments. So I guess first things first is we got to realize a flam is super simple. It's set up with two things, two taps, right? In drumming we've got taps and buzzes. That's it, right? So when we look at the flam, we've got two taps. We've got a small tap and we've got a higher tap. Okay, so the small tap is what we'd call the grace note. Okay, and the high tap is the theme note. So if we set it up with a low hand and a high hand, so let's pop our left hand down low, and let's pop our right hand up high. Okay, so what we've got here is the setup for a right hand flam. Super simple. Now, as we're coming down, the key thing to remember here is that both hands must start moving at the same time. If the low hand moves first and then the high hand moves after that, you're going to get a very separated flam sound. Now the sound that we're aiming for is P-L-U-P, plup. So just try saying that, plup. So you can hear there's a pla at the start and an up at the end. So that's your two sounds of your flam. Okay, it's not. That's often what I hear when people are playing flams, is dead flams, right? Whereas both sticks are striking first. Now you might laugh, but sometimes I've seen this and it's possible where you set up perfectly, but you start moving with the high hand first and it ends up striking the pad before the low hand. I've seen it happen. So I want you to think about the setup is number one, a high hand and a low hand, and that can vary. So some people will say, oh, how exactly high should the high hand be and the low hand be? Look, sometimes you're going to play an accented flam. Other times you're going to play a small flam. Other times you're going to play medium flam. Other times you're going to play something in between that. You've got to be prepared to play the flam at all different levels, okay? So let's just have a wee look at that. Okay, so we want a high hand and a low hand. It's got to have a plup sound. And the third thing we're remembering is that both sticks, so if I'm going to do it from the side, you can see that they both start moving at the same time. It's not that. Okay, they both start moving at the same time. So if there was a puppet master up above with strings on our sticks, both sticks would be moving up and down at the same time, right? That's how you get the timing right for your plup, okay? Give that a try. And sometimes if you're a bit tense, you might get, or we want to steer away from all that stuff. We want to keep it as clean and as straightforward as possible. Two taps. The small tap at the start should be so soft. Okay, and just because we're starting out, try and lift that confidence. Lift your high hand up nice and high. We want to get consistent with the plup, plup, plup every time, all right? Now let's flip it around. Try it on the left. Comment below, actually, what hand do you find this most difficult on? Is it the left hand or the right hand? Let me know. So if we're setting up a left hand flam, we've got a high left hand and a small right hand. And again, both sticks will start moving at the same time. They're moving in unison. But because the low hand is placed lower, of course it's going to strike the pad slightly before the high hand, right? So we've got, that's very widely spaced. And I'll bring the spacing closer together. That's what we're aiming for every time. So you can see how I'm just taking the time to set up and then flow down. As soon as this starts moving, so does this. We don't want. Just try that for a moment. Try both sticks striking at the same time. And you'll feel this weird feeling in your hands. You'll feel it through your lower arms. It's a weird dead feeling. Right, it sounds horrific. You can even hear in the room here what it is creating, kind of an awful sound. So that's what we're aiming for. And let's try that hand to hand. I'll just speed that up. What's happening as I get faster, you can see the height moving down. can see when I was playing a little bit quicker, not really quick, but you can see as I increased the speed, the height reduced, and then I started to bounce the flam. And we're going to study that in detail in another lesson here on the tutorials. But let's just take a look at, how we get it from the high height and start bringing it down slowly. Just be comfortable with that and get comfortable with that process of executing it consistently. And if you find that there are dead sounds or you're inconsistent, go back to the drawing board. Go back to, do I have my setup right? High hand and a low hand. And am I moving as one? Is everything in sync? Am I moving the low hand and the high hand at the same time? If not, that's going to give you some information around, hey, this is why it's dead. Or you might be speeding up in one hand. You might start moving at the right time, but all of a sudden this one speeds up because you're trying to over accent it. So just take your time on it. Don't try and rush it. And what we're going to do in future video tutorials is look at embellishing paradiddles, embellishing Swiss triplets, embellishing regular triplets, embellishing rolls, but putting flams on all of those rolls. So this video is designed as an introduction for you to get used to how to execute a flam really well. And also for those who've been playing them for a while, just this is a great video for you to brush up on. So if you've got some students that you're teaching, maybe forward them this video, let them have a look at it, so it might help you with your teaching journey. And guys, please, if you like the videos and you want more content, I do content right from beginners right up to top grade 1 level playing and performing. So please subscribe, and also down below you'll see a link to a free Facebook group, Pipe Band Drumming on Tap. So in that group, I go live, I do live sessions, you get an opportunity to do question and answers. So please head on across to Facebook and join it, Pipe Band Drumming on Tap. The link is below, and I wish you all the best with your drumming.